In this episode, we're going to be discussing mortgages, and Neil is here to walk us all the way through. Welcome, Neil. Happy to have you here. Take it away.
Good morning, Margaret. Thank you for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to potential buyers about mortgages. So, once you've selected the house, the bank will issue me, all being well, with mortgage instructions, and I'll need to follow those instructions carefully so that on the day of closing, the bank will release the money to my law firm so that my law firm can pay the seller's law firm the amount required to close. I'll have a few hurdles along the way. I'll have to produce a report to the bank saying the property title is all in order, that the boundaries are in order, and that there's nothing that would in the future prevent the bank, worst case scenario, from having to sell the property.
So close to closing, what are the hurdles that you have to help them smooth over?
So often my hurdles are boundaries. If there's a boundary issue, it's not just up to the buyer whether or not to accept that there's a slight encroachment, because the bank have to be satisfied too. And usually the bank are quite strict on these things because they want to be sure that the property is good and marketable in the terrible event that they're likely to have to sell it. And so the lawyer has no option but to perhaps force the seller to give some kind of solution with the neighbouring property that's encroaching. That can cause a slight delay, but often it's going on in the background. The other frequent big issue is insurance, strangely enough. The bank requires a couple of days before closing to see that the property is insured and that the bank is noted as loss payee. Often the bank will arrange the insurance themselves with you, and if they haven't done that, you'll need to arrange it yourself. But even if the bank has arranged it, make sure your lawyer has a copy of the insurance, because the lawyer isn't often in direct contact with the mortgage advisor. The lawyer is in contact with another department of the bank. So make sure either your lawyer has the name of the mortgage advisor and the email contact, or that the mortgage advisor provides your lawyer with a copy of the insurance naming the bank as loss payee. If you're arranging the insurance yourself, you'll need to make sure that your insurance company notes the correct name of the bank as loss payee. Often there's a last-minute hiccup when the lawyer sees the insurance and the name of the bank isn't quite right. But if you've made sure the name of the bank is right from the get-go, then your lawyer will thank you, because they won't spend 20 minutes racing around on email and phones at the last minute trying to get the correct name of the bank. So well before closing, the bank will issue me with the mortgage instructions, which tell me what I have to do in order for the bank to release the money on the day of closing. So a few days before closing, I will invite you to come in and sign. You'll sign two documents. You'll sign the property transfer and you'll sign the mortgage. By signing the mortgage, you're turning the property over to the bank for the duration of the mortgage until the loan is repaid. A few days before closing, I will then be able to issue a report to the bank saying the borrower's signed the mortgage, the title is all in order, there are no boundary issues, here's a copy of the property insurance, please release the money on the date of closing. And so, all being well, the bank will then receive my report, process it, and on the day of closing, fingers crossed in the morning, the bank will transfer the money across to my law firm's bank account. I will then be able to send the money on to the seller's lawyer's bank account. So at that point, you will get the keys to the property and be able to move in. Thank you for listening to me. My name is Neil Molyneux. I'm an attorney with Appleby the law firm. You can find my contact at applebyglobal.com, which will have my email address and direct phone number, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. That has been very great information. Open doors, open opportunities. Thank you for watching.